사실 저의 언제까지 뉴진스일지는 잘 모르지만 그래도 5명이랑 버니즈랑 만든 사이를 방해할 수 있는 거 없다고 생각해서
In case you guys missed it, NewJeans might actually be heading towards a tragic downfall. And the uncomfortable part, Danielle's name is right in the middle of it. Ever since her contract was terminated on December 29th, everything has been spiraling fast. As if the contract termination wasn't enough, the very next day, they confirmed they're suing a member of her family, a former CEO, Min Hee-jin, for about $30 million in damages over alleged breach of contract. That is not minor drama. That is serious legal warfare. And here's where it gets even more concerning. HYBE had previously promised that NewJeans activities would continue after the lawsuit was resolved. So if Danielle is suddenly out, that promise doesn't even make sense anymore. And that's why people are starting to ask, did this contract termination just trigger the beginning of the end? But how did we even get here in the first place? Let's dive right in.
NewJeans, including Danielle, Minji, and Hani, the remaining 3 members whose futures were still up in the air. From contract terminations to lawsuits to potential penalties and so much more.
So this didn't start with Danielle. It didn't even start with the members. It started with HYBE. Out of nowhere, HYBE announces that they're auditioning for Adore. And if you don't know, Adore is the label that manages NewJeans. HYBE basically says that Min Hee-jin was trying to take control, like fully take control. The accusation was that she wanted to separate Adore from HYBE and take NewJeans with her, which is wild because that's not a tiny disagreement. That's you're trying to walk off with one of our biggest groups. But Min was not quiet about it. She comes out and denies everything, completely flips the story. She says she wasn't trying to steal anything, says she was being targeted because she complained about another HYBE label, BFit Lab, letting their new group, Elite, copy NewJeans. And when she says copy, she meant concept, styling, choreography, the whole soft girl aesthetic. So in her mind, she was protecting NewJeans, not plotting anything. Then comes that press conference. That kind of public breakdown, that is not normal in K-pop corporate fights. It shocked people. She also said that she had sent letters to HYBE asking them to address the Elite similarities and that she got ignored. HYBE's response? They filed a police report against her. And then the members step in. On May 17th, 2024, all 5 NewJeans members file a legal plea supporting Min Hee-jin. They openly side with her against HYBE's attempt to remove her as CEO. That was the moment everything shifted, because once the members publicly picked a side, this stopped being a business issue and became a group issue. So after the members publicly backed Min, everyone thought HYBE would just remove her immediately. But that didn't happen. The court actually stepped in and granted an injunction, basically telling HYBE, you can't fire her right now, so Min stayed as CEO, at least for the time being. And that felt like a win for her side. But while that was happening, things were getting messier behind the scenes, because in May 2024, BFit Lab, the label behind Elite, files a lawsuit against Min Hee-jin, saying her plagiarism claims hurt their business, saying Elite members were getting dragged online because of her accusations. And then something happened that changed the entire tone of everything. In July 2024, Danielle wrote a handwritten letter to Min Hee-jin, and this wasn't some stiff professional note either. It was emotional. She calls her mom. She calls her a warrior. She says things like, there's no one like you in this world. You are our protector and our family. Now, that's important because loyalty like that doesn't just disappear when companies start fighting. If anything, it makes things more intense. Looking back now, that letter kind of foreshadows everything, because Danielle didn't just support Min quietly. She was emotionally invested. For a second, it looked like Min might actually survive this. Like, okay, maybe she keeps her spot, maybe things cool down, maybe this just all blows over. Yeah. No. On August 27th, 2024, HYBE's board removes Min Hee-jin as CEO. Just like that. New person steps in, Kim Joo-young, and suddenly the whole energy shifts. It goes from creative chaos to corporate control real quick. Min was still around as a producer at first, but let's be real, that is not the same thing. She wasn't in charge anymore, and for NewJeans, that hit hard. And that's when the girls stopped staying quiet. September 2nd, 2024, Min finally said something publicly on Phoning. She basically tells fans nothing has been fixed, that they're sorry this mess is happening when they should just be focusing on good things. But then September 11th happened, and that live stream, that changed everything. No big press release, just the 5 of them sitting there looking serious and saying Min needs to be reinstated by September 25th or else. Now, during that live stream, Honey said something that had everyone looking at each other like, what? She claimed they were being monitored, that hidden cameras had been found in practice rooms, that their phones were being accessed without permission. And they didn't tiptoe around it either. They directly addressed HYBE's chairman, Bang Si-hook, on camera and publicly demanded that Min be reinstated. Now, once the members did that, there was no easy way back, because September 25th came around and nothing changed. ADOR's board officially rejected the request to reinstate her, which basically told the girls, we heard you, and the answer is still no. Honey ended up testifying before South Korea's National Assembly during an audit about workplace harassment and artist protection in the entertainment industry. At the same time, ADOR's new CEO, Kim Joo-ung, also testified and said the company would cooperate fully. So now you have both sides speaking publicly, but clearly not seeing things the same way. Then November 16th rolled around, and NewJeans attended the Korea Grand Music Awards in Incheon. They won the Grand Artist Award, which should have been this huge celebratory moment, but their speech felt different.
뉴진스가 아니더라도 뉴진스는 never die. 인사드리겠습니다. 지금까지 뉴진스였습니다. 감사합니다.
And just a few days later, on November 20th, the Korean Labor Ministry dismissed the complaint tied to Honey's testimony. K-pop idols are classified as non-employees because their contracts don't create a typical employer-employee relationship. So the protections Honey was hoping would apply didn't legally fit the way people expected. That was a major setback. On that same day, Min Hee-jin officially resigned from her position as ADOR's internal director. She completely severed ties with HYBE and called the whole situation a nightmarish dispute, saying the audit against her was illegal from the start. At that point, it was clear there was no reconciliation happening. Then December 29th happened. Honey returned to Korea, had long talks with ADOR, and decided to stay, which is honestly surprising considering how strongly she spoke out before. Min-ji is still in discussions, nothing finalized. And then there's Danielle. That same day, ADOR announced they terminated her contract, saying they couldn't continue working together. Just her. And that alone speaks volumes. When one member stays, one is still negotiating, and one gets cut, the balance is already off, and whatever happens next is going to affect the rest of the group more than people probably expect.